wanna be more like you. Every day, Lord, more like you. I wanna be someone you shine through, Lord, more like you. I wanna be more like you. Every day, Lord, more like you. I wanna be someone you shine through, Lord, more like you. I wanna be more like you. Every day, Lord, more like you. I wanna be someone you shine through, Lord, more like you. I wanna be more like you. Every day, Lord, more like you. I wanna be someone you shine through, Lord, and all more like you. And all the world will see it's you and shine across the world. And though I may fall down, you pick me up, shine across the world. And all the world will see it's you and shine across the world. And though I may fall down, you pick me up, shine across the world.
Time I look to you, I see the world differently because of you. I am free. And every time I look to you, I see the world differently because of you. I am free. 'Cause even though the world passes by, I know your love will never leave my side because of you. 'Cause even though the world passes by, I know your love will never leave my side because of you. I am free. I know your love watches over me to guide me in my everyday because of you. I am free. I know your love watches over me to guide me in my everyday because of you. I am free. Yeah. Even though the world passes by, I know your love will never leave my side because of you. 'Cause even though the world passes by, I know your love will never leave my side because of you. I am free. Every time I look to you, I see the world differently because of you. I am free. And every time I look to you, I see the world differently because of you. I am free. Yeah. Even though the world passes by, I know your love will never leave my side because of you. Even though the world passes by, I know your love will never leave my side because of you.
Expanding Your Search and Stopping for Directions podcast with Brent Bailey. And at the tech booth, Jody Cook-Bailey and Luke Cardiel. We are growing our circles of connections and knowledge together with encouraging conversations and positive communications. And now, Brent Bailey.
And happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to Expanding Your Search and Stopping for Directions. It's a great day. It's Friday. Woohoo! The 26th of February. Hope you're having a great day where you are. We are here in the studio. We have a fantastic show for you today. We have the legendary voice actor, the voice of Michelangelo from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and The Tick. Of course, I'm talking about Townsend Coleman. He's going to be out here in just a few minutes. And now let's go over to the tech booth to check in with Jody and Luke. And guys, it's Friday.
Yep, it's Friday.
And it's a big Friday.
God. Yes,
because it's the
it's
the 26th. Now let me say a couple things here before you get into. Today is my grandfather Howard's birthday, and he would have been 99 today.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 99 years old today, and so happy birthday to him. And now this also kind of makes it special because today, of course, both of you know Caleb, my cousin Caleb. He's getting married today.
Yes,
so congratulations,
cool.
Caleb and Lauren. We
Congratulations.
love you. Congratulations on the nuptials.
I do not pay enough attention to Facebook because I had no idea.
Yep.
That's
Yes,
so
sir.
cool.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
So
Today
cool.
is the big day.
Congratulations, Caleb.
So, yeah. So,
Happy birthday. I mean, happy
wedding day.
Happy
Happy
wedding
birth
day.
of your
Happy
marriage
birthday,
day?
Papa, and happy wedding day.
Yeah. So anyway, let's get into it. What's going on in the country today, Jody?
Well, you know what? Since we were talking about a wedding, today is National Tell a Fairy Tale Day. So
like Cinderella,
like
Snow White.
Cinderella, exactly. I mean,
Beauty and the Beast.
I mean, we live in fairy tale land here in
Right.
Orlando. Although it doesn't always feel like it when you're driving on I-4, but you know, when you enter the property,
I was gonna say, as soon as you get off the boat or the train,
you're in.
it
fairy
feels
tale
like
land.
you're there.
Yeah, I mean, Fairy Tale Day. I mean, I grew up, with fairy tales, and then with Disney. I mean, you've got all of the Disney princesses, and it's just, it's a fun day.
It
to
is.
celebrate.
So tell one. Tell it. Not you specifically. Today is National
tell
a Fairy Tale Day.
I watched Snow White for the first time like a couple of weeks ago, and
Like
I was,
the old one, like the cartoon.
Yeah, and I was just blown away by the thought of oh wow, this was hand drawn.
Yeah.
This had to have taken
Long.
years.
Yeah.
This is insane.
Have you seen the meme that's out there where they show Christopher Robin walking through with Pooh Bear behind him, but then they show Mowgli from Jungle Book, and it's literally the same motion and the same movements, same frame rate, everything he's
Amazing.
doing exactly the same. So then they start comparing other Disney movies.
Oh.
And even though it's drawn differently to look like a different character, they were just copying over the frame rate of their original. You got to think about how many they were
much
cranking
extra
out. They
work,
had to do something. It's the copy and paste of the day.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's so many of they all had so similar movements, and it's because it was drawn that way once, and then they would just lay a new thing on and trace over that.
Yeah.
Well, think about the way graphic design works today. I mean, you import your object or whatever, so you're reusing things all the time. So I mean, you can't really fault them for that.
Somebody said when they posted it, they said, "My childhood is in question now.
Right, exactly.
I'm questioning everything."
It's so cool though to see all of that.
Yeah, that's super cool.
I love looking at really old vintage Disney art, just because I just think it's just so cool, and usually it's very pricey because it is vintage and it's worth a lot of money.
That's
so
true.
Obviously.
Oh, and hey, we have the niece of a Disney animator that was coming to the church, Caitlin's uncle.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
He worked on all the
That's right.
he drew Genie.
That's amazing.
He drew Genie for Aladdin.
I didn't know that. That's so cool.
It is.
Very cool.
I don't know how we got onto animation for fairy tales, but
Well, because Disney. So
Disney.
All the fairy
true.
tales.
It
So
all happens,
anyway, yeah. So maybe drop it down and tell us your.
Yeah, what's your favorite fairy tale? Yeah, what is it?
So I love Beauty and the Beast.
Peter and the Wolf.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah,
an old
Peter.
one.
Does Aladdin count? Because I'll go with Aladdin.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. It does. Okay, let's move on. So it's also Pistachio Day.
Ooh, wonderful pistachios.
Yes. Good. Those are good.
They
I
are
ate
good.
a lot
Yeah.
of pistachios growing up.
Did you ever eat the pink ones?
There's pink ones?
Yeah, I think I have.
They
Yeah.
kinda, and they stain your lips and then.
You know, I really started liking them a lot.
They're really good, though.
When
I'll
we
try
would
that.
ride, very rarely would ride in first class on, I'd say on American Airlines, and they'd serve you a cup full of the different mixed nuts, but the pistachios are always my favorite.
Yeah. When they come out of the shell all green and stuff, it's just
They're so
my
good.
mouth starts watering.
Yeah,
But
they're
they
really
make some that they've done. I don't know what they've done to them. But the shell, everything's pink.
Yeah.
It'll stain your fingers though. So whatever it is. So.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
So happy Pistachio Day. It also is Skip the Straw
Skip
Day.
the
What's
Straw
that mean?
Day.
Just
That
drink it
means-
right out of the cup?
Yes, drink it right out of the cup, and the whole reason is so that most straws are plastic, even though they're trying to go to paper.
Oh wait, this
Yeah,
is
you
straw.
got it is a straw.
That is a straw.
Okay, trying
I'm doing
to
it.
prevent plastic from being thrown away, and it winds up going into the ocean and killing many of our precious ocean creatures. So skip the straw day.
Well, what if you live in a community where they're using paper straws most of the time?
Honestly, to be honest,
Can you
I
skip that
really-
straw too?
Yes.
Because
I would
it's a
skip
piece
that
of junk
because it's a
anyway.
piece of-
Yeah, please
and then you
skip
throw it away. To me, it's still literally.
I will
it still
say,
makes a mess.
I will say this: they are trying with a new kind of plastic straw that is easily broken down. The problem is it breaks down as soon as you jam it through
Yes,
the
it
lid.
does.
It
It
just
breaks. Now they do sell like metal straws,
right.
and
a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah, so those are good too.
But you got to
So-
wash them constantly.
You do,
Yeah.
but
You carry them around with you. They keep it with you all the time.
Yeah.
So. All right, guys, that's what's going on around the country. I've got a great guest today. Stay tuned for Townsend Coleman as we expand your search. Today, my guest is Townsend Coleman, and he is a veteran Hollywood voice actor, and I know him best as the voice of Michelangelo from the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He has also been in various other things, commercials, many of the things that you've seen on TV. He was also the Tick in the animated series. He's also been the voice of Must See TV on NBC, all the Tonight Show promos. He is currently the daily promo announcer for Live with Kelly and Ryan on ABC, and he also plays the character of Jason Whittaker on the long-running radio drama Adventures in Odyssey. Please welcome to Expanding Your Search and Stopping for Directions, Townsend Coleman, everybody. Townsend.
Hey, man. How are you?
So good, man. It's so great to have you here, and pleasure to finally meet you. Brian and Jenny have talked about you for a long time, and so it's a pleasure to finally meet you. First of all, how have you been doing since the world got turned on its head with COVID? How's everything going in LA?
Well, Brent, I'll tell you, actually, it hasn't, and I hate to say this because I'm probably one of the few, but it hasn't really affected me personally that much, at least in terms of work, because I work right here from my home studio every day anyway. But in terms of being able to travel and see my kids out of town, I've got 4 kids, 3 of whom have kids of their own. So all my grandkids live in cities other than Los Angeles. So I have to go travel to see them. And I've been really missing that. Last year, my oldest grandson graduated high school in Denver, in the Denver area. And we had all planned a big trip to go see, and be a part of that graduation celebration. And obviously couldn't. And so it's stuff like that that's made it really tough for me and my family, and of course the rest of the world. So
Yeah.
but yeah, and I'm getting a little stir crazy. I will say that. I mean, I sometimes have to just go out for a drive, and open the sunroof and the windows and just get some fresh air.
Now, I know California is not known to get too cold. Is the weather agreeing still, or is the rest of the country starting to affect there too?
Well, listen, it's times like this that I'm grateful to live in Southern California. When it's 72 degrees here and, minus 72 practically in so many other parts of the country. Seeing what's going on in Texas is just nuts to me. But yeah, actually, Brent, it has been cold. We've had some rainy weather and some cold snaps that are a little uncharacteristic for Southern California, but certainly not unbearable. So.
Well, that's good, and at least you can go for those drives. A lot of folks are snowed in right now, so.
Yeah,
all right, let's just talk a little bit about your career. I know it is a very storied one. You've been the voice of many people's childhood, but let's talk about how you got started. What was your first job in voice acting, at least?
In the voiceover business, or in the voice business period, my first real job was breaking into radio in Cleveland, Ohio, in 1974, 75. And it was something that I'd wanted to do ever since I was a kid, because it's something that my dad did when he was younger, and we used to live in the Denver area. And so I did. I broke into radio, ended up becoming a rock jock there in Cleveland for 10 years at various stations and formats. And then, but it was during that time that I discovered voiceovers in the Cleveland area and the freelance voiceover realm, where I could actually make money outside of the radio stations that I was working for and doing commercials for locally, and found that I really, really liked it. And after 10 years on the air in radio, got to a point where I was making more money a year doing my freelance voiceover work than I was working 6 days a week at the radio station. It just didn't make any sense to me anymore. So I quit radio, and in June of '84, and then right on the heels of that, got notice that the house we were renting in Cleveland was being sold, and we needed to be out by the end of September of '84. So I took that opportunity. I had just turned 30. I took that opportunity to try and take stock of what I really wanted to do. And I had felt like I had pretty much done everything in Cleveland that I could do within the entertainment industry. And I was modeling. I was doing a TV show. I was pulling the Ohio lottery numbers on TV every night. I was doing musical theater. I was doing everything I could think to do there. And so it was time to move, and so I moved to LA in '84, and have been here ever since. And my real break, I suppose, if you will, came here in town about 6 months after I moved here. I got an audition for a cartoon series called Inspector Gadget, and I had never given any thought to doing cartoons. It just kind of wasn't on my radar because it wasn't what I wanted to do. I came out here to be an on-camera actor. But the voiceover thing, because I had done so much of it back in Cleveland, just kind of grabbed me by the throat and never let go. And for that, I'm eternally grateful, actually, because I would much rather be doing what I'm doing now than having continue to beat my head on the wall trying to get an on-camera career going. So.
And so your first job is on the Inspector Gadget. What character did you play?
Yeah, I played a character named Corporal Capeman. He was Inspector Gadget's little right-hand assistant. I'll help you, Inspector. He was a goofy little goon like that. But it broke me into animation and opened my eyes to kind of the possibility of what this business had to offer. I just never really even thought of it. But there I was in my very first session, sitting with Maurice LaMarche and Frank Welker, me, and Don Adams.
Wow.
And I didn't know who Mo or Frank were at the time. Come to find out that Frank is a legend in this business and has been for years. And same with Maurice LaMarche, my goodness. But that was Mo's first series as well. But of course I knew who Don Adams was, and I had watched him on TV as a kid, in Get Smart, one of my favorite shows.
Sure.
And, and so I was a bit starstruck, but couldn't believe that, 6 months earlier, I was living in Cleveland, Ohio, and here I am sitting in a recording studio with Don Adams and these other, just crazily talented cats, and me. And I thought, how in the world did this happen? It was crazy, but that's how I broke in. And so I sort of tried parlay it from that into more of that, because I had so much fun doing the cartoons, But I asked my agents to send me out on more of those kind of auditions. They did, and I got in over at Hanna-Barbera, did some shows over there, and then booked a show called Fraggle Rock, and
which we see peeking behind you there.
Show called Teen Wolf. Yeah, that's Gobo. That's the character I did on Fraggle Rock. Yeah.
Oh, Wembley, your rock dust allergies all in your head. But we'll go exploring in outer space with my Uncle Traveling Matt. Yeah.
But yeah, so I really found that I had a bit of a facility for this kind of little niche, this little corner of the voiceover business, and enjoyed it. I mean, just liked the heck out of it. So I got very fortunate, and then I, on the heels of Fraggle Rock, booked Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and was lucky enough to get the character of Michelangelo on that, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah, I know that is that had to have just been huge, because that cartoon was everywhere. I mean, everywhere.
Still is.
Yes, it is. It still is.
I don't know how many iterations of the series there have been now, but there, I mean, my goodness, my buddy Rob Paulson, who was on the original series with us in 1987, 88, was on the 2012 series. He was Raphael on our show and Donatello on the 2012 series. And then the next iteration of it that came along, he actually was the voice director on. So,
Wow.
you know, we've had our chances to sort of keep our fingers in the TMNT pie for a few decades here.
Yeah, both of my kids watch the old series still too. And when I told them you were going to be on the program today, my 10, he just turned 10 on Monday. He was like, "Really? He's my favorite." So,
well, you tell him, "Cowabunga, dude! You are totally righteous and bodacious."
that's so awesome. I love how you can just get right in there like you did it yesterday. All right, now some folks don't know this about you, but you also like to work on the stage and actually work, with other folks. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, that's actually kind of how I got started in Cleveland more than anything. Was doing local theater in Cleveland, community theater, and some semi-pro stuff, and started doing musicals there. And it's long been a love of mine. I fell in love with the theater in fourth grade when I went with the rest of my class on a class trip to go see a production of Peter Pan. I was going to say The Wizard of Oz, but it wasn't. It was Peter Pan. And I was blown away by it. And one of my classmates' older brothers, was playing Michael in this production. And I thought they had the kids flying and everything in this production. And I was mesmerized. And I thought, wow, I know the brother of a famous person. And so ever since fourth grade, I've wanted to do theater. I did it in junior high and high school, went off to University of Colorado in Boulder, and in my second semester of my freshman year, ended up getting the lead in the university production there in 1973, and that was a big shot in the arm for me. And so then I went back to Cleveland and just started getting involved in theater there. So it's something that once I moved out here in '84, the last show that I had done in Cleveland was Pirates of Penzance, and I played the role of Frederick in that, and that was in 1982. I ended up not getting back into theater here in LA until 2013. So 31 years it took me to actually get back on stage, and really the reason for it was because my kids were young at the time, and it would have been a little disruptive to our schedules. Plus the fact that in 1993, I got, after a fluke audition, got this incredible gig over at NBC voicing their must-see TV promos and the promos for The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. And so I had to be down at NBC in Burbank every night at about 6:30 weeknights. And that really precluded doing any theater, and I did that for 16 years. So it was a long stretch of not being able to pursue anything in the evening. And so finally in 2013, ended up running into a buddy of mine who was very involved in a theater company, a Christian theater company here in town called Actors Co-op. And he poked me in the chest and he said, "You need to be in co-op." And I said, "Okay." And so I actually got a call from a buddy of mine who was directing a show and wanted me to come audition for a part in it about 3 or 4 months later. And I got this part, got back on stage in 2013 and just had a blast and remembered why I loved it so much. Of course, I was really nervous too, because I wasn't sure if I'd be able to know how to remember lines anymore, since I hadn't had to memorize lines in 30 years. Everything I do is read off a script.
Yeah.
And most of it's, 5, 10, or 15 seconds long these days. So,
yeah.
Not a lot of mental taxation there.
Let's talk a little bit about now. You've voiced so many of the cartoons. You're currently doing Kelly and Ryan's promos. You were the Tick. You've
indeed. Evildoer, beware! You face the Tick. It's my buddy right back there.
There he is. Yeah. So you've had a really great career. But you're also a believer, and I really wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that. There's so much talk about what it's like being a believer in Hollywood, but it hasn't really seemed to hurt your career at all.
Well, I don't think it's hurt my career. Listen, I give God all the credit for my career.
Yeah.
So, I remember years ago when I was going through a particularly difficult time in my career, difficult in that it was slower than I was used to it being, and I didn't like that, and I didn't understand it, and I remember talking to my agent at one point, and he said, "Look, don't try and make sense of it, Townie. Just let it be what it is, and it'll happen when it's supposed to happen." And I thought, wow, that is so true, and I thought that was such great advice, and yet at the same time, I also tended to look at when I would start to get really caught up in not booking something or not booking a role or not booking a part in some, or not booking because back in those early days, I was still trying to pursue on camera stuff. I would get frustrated. And then I had to remember that, as much as I love my agents here in town, my real agent ultimately to me personally is God. God's going to be the one who's going to have me get the gigs he wants me to have, and I won't get the ones he doesn't want me to have. Is the way I look at it, and so as long as I can maintain at least a modicum of that mentality, yeah. I'm pretty okay, because it's way too easy to get caught up in this business and get caught up in the frustration of it and get caught up in the anxiety of it. And if there's one thing that I've really learned to have to try and not only grapple with, but grasp onto is just the concept of contentment, just being okay with the way things are, where they are right now. You always try and take those steps to make them better, to further yourself, to further your career, to further your life. But you do it with a sense that, or at least I try and do it with a sense that, look what I've already got. Look what I already have had. Look what I've already been able to experience. It's been plenty. And so I always try and remind myself of that, to just be content with where I am right now and not worry about tomorrow, not worry about next week, not worry about what the future is going to hold, because God says we don't know what that's like. We don't know what's around the next corner, and that's the very essence of faith, is not knowing, but it's the assurance of knowing what you don't know is coming, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
I mean, of course it makes sense to you, but so that's how I look at it and try and rest in it.
Folks, this is Townsend Coleman. He is a veteran of the voice acting community in Los Angeles. He has voiced probably many voices in your childhood. We are so grateful for your time today. Thank you so much for coming on and being and just dropping some positivity on our audience. And my wife, when she found out you're doing Kelly and Ryan's promos, she was like, I can't believe it. So she's a big fan. Yeah, big fan. Hey, listen, have a great rest of your day and do some more great work, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it, Brent. You too.
All right, take care. That's Townsend Coleman, everybody, and now let's stop for directions. The Bible says in Zechariah chapter 4, verse number 10, "For who has despised the days of small things?" Another translation of that says small beginnings. "For these 7 rejoice to see the plumb line in the hand of Zerubbabel. These are the eyes of the Lord, which can scan to and fro throughout the whole earth." There comes a time in our life where we look at where we are right now, and it's really tempting to be dissatisfied. It's a whole nother thing to just be as far as you can go. And I want to encourage you today, wherever you are, know that God's plans include the full picture. And you may not be completely satisfied where you are right now, but then you may have room to still improve. I was listening to Townsend talk about leaving Cleveland. He had done everything he could do there. And then he moved on to LA to really establish himself as this illustrious career. What is it that you can do right now? Can you take some inventory of your own life where you look and say, am I just dissatisfied? Or perhaps am I at a place that I could just do more and maximize where I'm at? That is what the question that we need to answer today is. The Bible says, don't despise where you are, even if it is a time of being small. The truth is, God's got great plans that as soon as you're ready, you can step into. And when that happens, that's when you take a step to the next level. Take some time to do some inventory today. Amen? That's going to wrap it up for the show today. I'm so grateful to Jody and to Luke for another great broadcast. I'm so grateful to our guest, Townsend Coleman, The Tick, and Michelangelo, and many other characters. Thanks for coming on today, Townsend. Until next time, I hope you found what you were looking for as you took the time to expand your search and stop for directions. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks for joining us today. Connect with us on @expandingyoursearch on Facebook and Instagram and @expandingsearch on Twitter. Relive any of our episodes on YouTube. We're available wherever podcasts are found, including Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. You can also download the Direction Ministries app on iOS, Android, Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire. Take some time today